You're watching Leafs Morning Take with host Nick Alberga and former NHLer Jay Rosehill. The show starts now.
Okay, let's dance. It's time for the Wednesday edition of Leafs Morning Take presented by Bet365. It is Nick Alberga and Zack Phillips subbing in for Jay Rosehill, who is en route to Toronto, will be at the game tonight against the Mammoth. What's going on, Zach?
I'm feeling good. I feel energetic this morning, Nick. I don't know if it's this disgusting thing I have on my face. I don't know if it's because I got up and went to the gym early, if I've had 2 coffees and a pre-workout. I don't know what it is, but I feel alive today. And maybe it's because the Maple Leafs, the only thing I remember from Monday night's game is that third period. I don't know what happened for the first 40, but I remember just one of the most electric third periods ever. So that's what's carrying me through today.
Thank you for reminding me about the bastard who crop dusted at the gym yesterday. What a sack of shit that was. Anybody who goes to the gym, like, that's the one protocol. If you got to shit yourself, go to the washroom or go somewhere in the corner. Dude, I'm just doing sit-ups and some dude strolls by and pretty much shit himself. And obviously there's a babe behind me. Like, there's got to be people in the vicinity and everybody's looking around. And I'm like, this thing stank, man. And
you guys smell that too?
Oh, dude, it was like this thing, and it lingered for like 5 minutes, man. It's just bad karma, I think, if you do something like that at a gym. So thank you for reminding me about that. But I moved on with my workout after that. I was like, I got to call it a day at this point.
That's your own form of smelling salts at the gym.
Oh, my God, man. That is the most gutless thing you can do at a gym, okay? If you got to shit yourself, just go to the washroom. And the reason why I bring that up, because the Maple Leafs shit themselves for the first 2 periods of the game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Then they woke up. But how many times do you think we've seen that episode in, say, like the last decade? And I saw some great tweets, too, how, again, the opponent was so fitting. I said this on yesterday's show because of who's at the helm of the Pittsburgh Penguins, right?
Yeah, that was his team's MO for 9 years. And now, like, this is going on 10. It was like, if you look back, you could probably pinpoint those days and just play out the exact same scenario. Now, mind you, I think Monday nights was the most exaggerated I've ever seen it. I think you'd probably agree with that. Like, that might be the worst 40 minutes of hockey I've ever seen them play, and then followed by some of the best, just in terms of, like, contrast-wise. But they've done that a billion times over, and it was shocking because last year I think was the first year they kind of started to get away from that a little bit more, where it was like the swing wasn't as bad. But yeah, it was not like anything we hadn't seen. And the funniest part was, I think it was somebody from our network, I believe it was Alex Hobson, who writes here at the Leafs Nation. He tweeted out something along the lines of, like, have we ever seen a Kyle Dubas team be outshot 35-18 and lose? Like, give up blow a lead in the third period? No, can never happen. Like,
I'm pretty good at getting guests. I was trying to track down Michel Therrien for today's show. I couldn't do it. I think he works out in Quebec now as an analyst. But all I can remember, this is probably before your time because you're like 13 years old. But he had an infamous rant in the media about believing his team was strongly trying to be the worst defensive team in hockey. It was incredible. But, like, that's the way I felt watching that game the other night. It was only fitting it was against Pittsburgh, too. Like, dude, it reminded me of being at beer league hockey on a Sunday afternoon. I've done this a billion times, where you're sort of shit-faced still, or you're hungover and you got the yips. But that's a National Hockey League game, and you're playing an inferior opponent, and they're skating circles around you. Like, it was insanity to me.
Yeah, you know what that game is? And, like, I have played, and again, to the beer league point you just made, I played on a Friday night league downtown here. When I first moved downtown, every Friday, Saturday, it was like, it's go time. So it would be go out Friday night, and then after the Leafs game on Saturday, you just full pin it Saturday as well. Yeah. But Friday was when you're the most fresh, and we would play hockey on Friday nights. The first year that I played it, we had, like, we usually wrap up around like 9:30, 10 o'clock on the Friday league. The first year I played, they sewered us, and we played on Halloween, like Friday night, and the game started at like 10 p.m. I think half of my team didn't show. We had about 7 skaters, and partway through the second period, I said, you know what, that's it. I'm not going to bend my legs. And that was how the Leafs started. There's guys making $13 million, and they were like, showed up and like, it's Monday night. I don't need to move my boots here tonight. And you just stand there with the straight legs and your stick in front of you being like, I hope they give me the puck, because then if I get it, I might turn on the boots.
I wasn't sure where that story was going. I thought it was going to end with like somebody in a Donald Trump costume scoring the game-winning goal, or Buzz Lightyear, or a Scream mask. But it's Zach just not moving the legs. I get it. It was.
No, you got there. You got there by doing girl math.
Yes, I did. My mistake. Yeah, it was an ugly performance for the first 40 minutes, but they found a way. And we talked about this yesterday. It's amazing how different the mood changes, even in our group chat yesterday, and understandably so a couple of days ago, where it's like, man, this is going to be a really difficult post-game show. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, goal, 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 goal. McMahon scores, gets off the schneid. And like, oh, we're feeling optimistic about this team. It just shows you, pro sports, how quickly things can change. Our Super Chat charity partner is Sick Kids. Want to make sure that your question or comment gets on the show, hit us up with a Super Chat. Proceeds from our Super Chat will go to Sick Kids, ranked the #1 research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and 3rd in the world. Maxentius Decimus, thank you so much for the Super Chat, saying, I didn't know Davis Schneider was hosting today. It's the off-season, I guess.
I don't have my sporting glasses. Oh, Vic, look at that.
Good job, Vicky.
There you go. I don't have my sporting glasses. That was good, Vic. I also never played baseball. I played sports, a lot of them growing up, never played baseball. So cannot say that I have the biceps or the skills that David Schneider does at baseball. But that was good work, Vic. Appreciate that.
You're an athlete, though. You're an athlete. I mean, hockey players, I've known so many throughout my life, even in the NHL, who are just freaks of nature when it comes to every sport imaginable. You're like, in gym class, like, oh, we're playing floor hockey today. We're playing volleyball today. We're playing baseball today. They just dominate in every sport. It made no sense. Meantime, I'm just in the corner chewing tobacco. So it's like, that was me circa 20 years ago, dipping in floor hockey in gym class. It was unbelievable, but people don't dip anymore. They zen, Zach.
Yeah, the dip is a thing of the past. Other than when you tune into, you ever tune into like NFL Hard Knocks? Have you ever seen that? And then you see these. What the hell's going on? Vic's got the Davis Schneider pick snapping up on screen like you wouldn't believe. And then he's putting up Teemu J. Rosehill as my banner. It's good work by this guy today.
That was a good chirp last time you co-hosted the show. Somebody called you Teemu J. Rosehill. That was a pretty good chirp.
Yeah. But to the point, I saw a video of one of the coaches. I believe it was the Cleveland Browns. He put in a wad of chew that I could not even begin to comprehend. I've been around locker rooms. I've seen guys do it. I've seen guys get excessive with it. Nick, this guy opened the bag of Redmond. No.
Oh, yeah.
And he just went like this and just swallowed it and was shoveling the Redmond in his mouth, had a wad like this big in his cheek, and then reached in and topped it off. And I was like, that is a man. Like, that is a man right there.
That's how we gauge if you're a man in 2025. But yeah, I still recall my days in high school baseball. Like, it was a 6-game slate. The only reason why I played high school baseball was to chew tobacco. Kind of sad thinking about it. But I would spend the entire bus ride, if it was a road game, just setting up my chew for the game, because I would chew Red Men sometimes. And you have to get it going with a proper lather on with the gum. And then the other half, or the other portion of the bus ride, was spent pine tarring my bat. Like, I don't know. It was a weird era to be alive. But yeah, things have changed tenfold. Speaking of changes, things are going to change abundantly soon for Nick Schmaltz. He has been on fire, scored another goal last night for the Buffalo Sabres. The reason why I bring up Nick Schmaltz, his brother Jordan Schmaltz is going to guest on this show in about 20 minutes from now. Former Toronto Marlie, former NHLer, does the Home by 3 podcast now. This guy's hilarious. I can't wait for this interview.
That, well, first of all, his co-host on that show has been a guy I've been following since, as you said, I was 12 or 13 years old, whatever the age was that you threw out there. It's been like the best Twitter account I've ever followed. And then Schmaltz's Twitter account came soon after that. Yeah, I also saw him stirring the pot the other day. I saw him trying to make a comeback, so I'm excited to get him on the show here. He's a, like what is the Dos Equis or whatever, the world's most interesting man?
Oh,
That's
yes.
Schmaltz now. Yeah.
Well, I think it's like you don't even know if it's a shtick. That's what I think it's hilarious. Is like you don't know if it's a shtick or it's just like Schmaltzy being Schmaltzy, Jay Schwish as he goes by. But he's coming up in about 20 minutes. We're gonna pick his brain on the Maple Leafs. I believe he had a cup of coffee as well in St. Louis with Craig Berube, so we'll get his thoughts on that.
Mhm.
And just think about this. Let this marinate. The Schmaltz family really tight with the Nylander family. If you guys recall, we had Schmaltz on the show last year. He brought up an infamous Willie story from his childhood and playing days. And Nick and Willie played together growing up. So just think about that. This guy's a UFA following this season. Also coming up tonight, a great show called The Leafs Nation After Dark with Zack Phillips on your screen. Now, what can we look forward to and watching on that show tonight and seeing?
Buddy, not a clue. No,
Everything, baby.
It changes as the minutes go by. You think what you saw on Monday after the game, like with where my head was at entering the third period, that show was just completely different than what I thought it was going to be. So you could be in store for absolutely anything. I think I was so in shock by the third period, I pretty much just laughed for 60 minutes on After Dark, and that's what it could be. Hopefully a win and some happy thoughts and positive vibe breakdown rather than people coming to the post-game show and just going on over and over and over again about how they're missing somebody and they're never going to be the same. And then having people send in, which we appreciate, but super chats over and over again about how this team is going to miss the playoffs. And I say, I think you're wrong, but thank you for the super chat. Let's keep it moving.
It's funny, even in our group chat the other day, you and Vic are going blow for blow, just tearing the team to shreds. And I was about to write. I'm like, let's just let the boys go. I'm like, you guys gotta pace yourself. I mean, it's game 13. If you blow your load game 13, what do you have left for the rest of the tank? Like save the conniption for game 43 because this is what they do, right?
Yeah. Okay. So this, this is where I agree and disagree with you. So the agreement part is it's hard because it's really early, and I mean American Thanksgiving usually the barometer, and if you compare last year to this year, I mean even it's tiny little margins, but I pointed this out to Vic the other day, just after the game, was just talking about the comparison of last year through 13 games versus this year through 13 games. Nick, just a quick rundown. 13 games last season, 6-5-2 was the record. This year, one better. They're 7-5-1. Last year, 14 points. This year, 15 points. Goals for last year, 39. Goals against, 39. 0 plus minus on either end of the differential. Now, this is where the funniest part comes in to me. Now, and I know the schedule this year has been light, but Nick, if I had to ask you what one thing is that people said the Maple Leafs lost this year, one word to describe it, what would it be? What was that one thing that everyone said, it's gone, they don't have it this year, how are they going to find it?
Offense.
Right. Last year, 39 goals for through 13 games. 47 goals for through 13 games this year. That whole aspect, the big picture, all of it, it's just okay, it's the same shit. Let's just pump the brakes. The problem I have is that the first 40 was the most puke-worthy hockey I think I've seen this group play ever. It wasn't just effort. It wasn't just execution. It was the combination. I was watching guys who looked like they were mad that they had to put their gear on that day and go out on the ice. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? That was what was infuriating to me. Again, we made the joke about the men's league, being hungover or just wanting to leave. In seriousness, that was what we watched. We watched a bunch of guys who just skated around get me the fuck out of here kind of mentality for 40 minutes. And that was where my head was exploding. And then to watch the last 20 where it was the most intense, let's win this, rah, rah, rally behind your captain, blocking shots, winning battles. I'm where the fuck was that for the first 40? Like, how does it change like that? That's what infuriates me the most about these guys.
It's funny. I put out a tweet during that game. I'm like, this is exactly what the city of Toronto needed following just the heartache of Saturday night, was this type of performance. But I let it ride, man. I let it ride because I knew the Leafs. And I told you all at the end of the game, that's exactly the performance you needed, a victory against the Pittsburgh Penguins. At the Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs One Take wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Crave the Stats is a presentation of Uber Eats. Every time the Leafs play at home, you can get these exclusive deals only on Uber Eats. Firehouse Subs, Bogo Brisket Hat Trick, Kibo Sushi, Bogo California Roll, Shelby Shawarma, Bogo Traditional Wrap. That's right, buy one, get one. Before, during, and after the game, Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. So what do you think of the idea? I don't know if we have the lines just yet, but of the idea of wholesale changes. Like, it looks like Laughton's coming in, Lorentz is coming in, and Mattias Maccelli, fresh off the health bomb, could play tonight in the revenge look.
So, love the of Lorentz and getting Laughton back into this lineup. Back in is a loose term. He didn't play since preseason. But getting him in here just in general, love that. And I have been getting the most pushback ever doing the After Dark show talking about the return of Laughton. I think he's a really important piece to this. I think it's like an identity piece. I think he's a guy who, is important in the locker room. I think he's a guy who brings the right mentality every single day. And then just the intensity and leading by example on the ice. I think he brings that, and just on top of it, helps fill out your bottom six. Like, pushes guys back to the right roles. Right, you get guys who are playing center right now who shouldn't be, i.e. Max Domi, back to the wing. You get guys moved up into their proper positions, and the drop-off isn't that crazy from Nick Waugh to Max Domi. And I know I'm talking about moving Domi over, but you're looking at a significant gap. Now Laughton there, it's very, very, very close in terms of what you're dealing with from one guy to the next. So fills out the bottom six, and then can kind of like alleviate pressure on the top six a little bit more, and I think gives them some more offensive zone opportunities rather than seeing them start in the D zone all the time, because or as much as they are right now, because you can trust your bottom six to go there. The one gripe I have, right now over on Daily Faceoff, if you look at what the lines are currently listed at, which I hope, fingers crossed, that this is not what we see, I don't want to load from the beginning the Nylander, Matthews, Nyes line, because I think that when you look at Tavares, Robertson, and McMahon, that's a stark contrast. Like, you look at 1, 2 is farther behind 1 than it needs to be, and then you've got like a decent 3, 4. And I know I'm like getting into the weeds on it, and this probably isn't how it's going to be. Like, Berube, much like the last guy, is willing to make some changes. But I'd rather not start the game with Nylander on 1. I'd rather him on line 2, and then change if things aren't working and you need it later in the game, like you saw against Pittsburgh on Monday when you needed a push in the third period. But that's the biggest gripe. The only other piece, which I think for one reason this is happening, and I don't know if you agree with this, but I'd rather Cowan play than Maccelli. But I think Maccelli's playing because they're playing Utah. I don't know if we're on the same page on that one, but I feel like Berube's throwing him a bone.
Yeah, I think he's throwing him a bone, and he's got to play. Like, look at what they gave up for the guy. A third-round pick could become a second, by the way, if he gets over 51 points and the Maple Leafs make the playoffs. And you can't make an assumption this early, but the marriage hasn't looked good thus far. And we expected it.
No.
I mean, there was going to be some turbulence. I think they can tread lightly and carefully on Easton Cowan. I think the whole goal here is to have this guy play. So if it's not going to be at the NHL, put him in the American Hockey League. You have that luxury. But yeah, I don't think he's looked at a place or anything. I think it's just the unfortunate reality right now, Zach, in Toronto. They got 1 billion forwards, man. We've been talking about this for 3 months. And we also discussed the fact that if you talk about asset management, who is better than that in this league right now, in my opinion, than Brad Treliving? We had the same convo last year where it seemed like the Leafs are going to lose 2 or 3 guys on waivers. We get to the season, so-and-so's hurt. All of a sudden, they have to make no moves. Like, we talked about Robertson being dealt a year ago. So I think that's why. They're just buying time. And from Maccelli's standpoint, they need this trade to work out in some facet. It hasn't been a good start. He's had some ups. He's had some downs. And I like the fact, if he is back in, that they're throwing him a bone against Utah. Maybe he wakes up here.
I hope so. look, to this point, and I could be proven wrong, but I don't have much faith in him anymore. I had it going
Already,
into the season.
Yeah.
Well, it's not so much that I think like he's done and I don't like this player and it doesn't work, like get him out. My thought process has just changed on what his ceiling could be. I went into this with a more positive outlook and the hope that, like, I know that it was being thrown and I was part of it.
80 points.
Mostly as a joke, but I was throwing out the Mattias Maccelli, right? He's going to be the guy who's going to be a playmaker, fit in the top 6, yada, yada, yada. For the most part, I'm joking about that, but I did think there was going to be some serious point production that was going to come from the guy in replacement of Mitch Marner. Not 80 points kind of thing, but maybe this guy can do 65, 70 and be in there. I don't see that being the ceiling for Mattias Maccelli at all. I don't know how he gets there. I don't think he can find it with these guys. And then it's starting to get to the point where it's the Nick Robertson conundrum of years past, where if he doesn't fit in your top 6, where does he fit? Well, Maccelli doesn't fit in your top 6 right now. He doesn't match the identity of what I think they're trying to build in the bottom 6 and how they're trying to group those guys together. Like, he doesn't play like Nick Waugh. He doesn't play like Dakota Joshua. He doesn't play like Scott Laughton or Lorentz, or even for that matter, Domi, or have the intensity like Calle Jarnkrok. I don't think gets enough credit for playing as balls to the wall as he does all the time and being willing to go to the dirty areas and the corners or whatever. Smaller guy, for sure. Doesn't win all the time, but he'll go. I don't think Maccelli's the guy who does that. So where does he fit? And that's where my concern becomes on the guy, where it's like, dude, if you don't have your A game where you're slinging no-look backhand passes to Matthews' back door, what the fuck are you bringing to this lineup? And right now it's nothing. Like, he is just a body out there. He's a guy who takes minutes and sits on the bench and keeps it warm until guys slide down into that spot. Like, he's a serviceable NHL player who can get out there and take up time, but right now he just makes no impact on the game. And that's where my focus, my mind has shifted to on Mattias Maccelli. He's just no longer the guy who can bring playmaking and point production at the level that you need him to. He's just a guy who can play.
It is a peculiar fit. It was a peculiar fit from the beginning. Granted, it's been 12 games, man. We've seen him 12 times in the blue and white. Having said that, I do feel like he's the type of player where if you have to recoup assets and it doesn't work out, like here we are on November 5th, we're talking about Mattias Maccelli. How do you move out from this file? I think they would be able to get something, maybe not a third, but something close in that ballpark to move a Maccelli. Yeah. But I understand what you're saying so far.
Well, Nick, have you, like, putting it back to you, like, have you seen anything out of this guy early on that would suggest that is a capability? Because, like, what I would say is that you watch the Leafs, and as much as we can have frustrations about the group, or people have frustrations about Dakota Joshua or Nick Waugh that I see and deal with on the After Dark chat, or even when I'm tuning in watching you guys here on Morning Take and seeing people in the chat, my pushback is just, like, I see the maybe... Again, maybe wrongly so, but I see the potential in it. I see what you're trying to do with that piece. I just don't see it with Mattias Maccelli. Like, have you seen anything? Like, is there something I'm missing? And I'm genuinely asking you. I'm not trying to be a dickhead about it. Like, is there something you've seen that's like, okay, yeah, that piece could work, and I feel like if he gets time, it could work? Because right now, it's just missing on me.
My counter is what has worked. Like,
that's a
the
fair
lines
point.
have been in the blenders.
Yeah.
We've seen every combination possible. Dude, I can't believe it is November 5th and we've seen every line combo possible. Like, I'm not a defender of Mattias Maccelli, but I think 12 games is too short of a time to give a proclamation one way or another on this guy. Having said that, again, there's a reason why Utah's like, we don't want this guy anymore. And again, depending on who you talk to, he requested a deal, wanted out last year. Okay, I get it. But you got to show me something. And so far, I've got no problem with Craig Berube going to the well of being like, hey, you're going to try the popcorn at Scotiabank Arena tonight. It's just not good enough, okay? And I understand he's a different type of player, and I think there's still a way to play heavy and not be a big frame. We have so many examples of that throughout the league. He's just not offering anything. But my counter to that would be who is actually bringing it on a nightly basis. And off the top of my head, I can't list one guy, right? So I think this is more of a team thing than a Maccelli thing. Having said that, he's got to find his role. But you can make that case for everybody. I think there's a bit of an identity crisis with this team right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I was listening to Jamie McLennan talk about them the other day and kind of just saying like it was building off the Chris Pronger point that they played on or showed on Amazon Prime the other day, right? Where he was talking about this team has had a paraphrasing, but this team has had enough skill in years past to just kind of like rely on that. You know, even I brought up on After Dark on Monday the Herb Brooks quote, like, you think you can win on talent alone? Gentlemen, you don't have enough talent to win on talent alone. That's what this team has got to learn right now.
Yeah.
In years past, they've had it. And you've seen at times where it was just like they could basically show up and just win games because they were so skilled. And they could just score goals because they were so skilled. They now have to learn how to win hockey games and score goals the right way, which maybe this year is a full-blown like learn, and it's going to be painful and it's going to be really tough. But I think that's the right way to learn how to do this, because I don't think you have to go full-blown Florida Panthers to do it, where you're just like in the best way possible because they won 2 Stanley Cups, but you're like meatheads and you just beat everybody down, because I don't think the Leafs are capable of doing that. But I think you have to learn how to grind out goals, because that's what you do in the playoffs. You don't skill together goals and skill together shifts and plays. You have to be able to get into a game and muck and grind and work your dick off to be able to score. Like, that's just what it comes down to in the postseason. And a lot of times this team has just gotten there and been like, well, we'll change it like that by the time we get there. And you can't. You can't flip a switch like that. You can get through the regular season like we've seen Tampa and Florida and Washington, etc. do, and then turn it up in the playoffs, but you can't change who you are when you get to the playoffs. And I think that's been a huge problem that they've had in years past, where they show up and they're like, now we're here to play this way. And I think that's part of the problem as well, Nick, where you see these guys struggling to adapt and come together, where you point out Joshua, Laughton last year, I don't know, look back to years past, Foligno, Achari, throw whoever else, Ryan O'Reilly into that list that you want, where it's like they didn't work that great when they came here. Well, I think part of it was the team was built this way, and then they went and got a player who's built this way, and they were like, let's work together. And it's like, whoa, we're trying this like a month and a half before the playoffs. The hell are we doing? You kind of have to start to establish that now, and I think that they're struggling, but I think that's what the goal is.
Here's an idea. Get the fucking power play going, okay? Because you talked
that's
about
a 10-year issue.
Like, it really is. I mean, every year it's the same conversation. 17 different dudes have had a chance at the power play, and they just haven't figured it out long term. But even just the numbers you brought up about the offense, the power play, man, as we have this conversation, this is the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're 4 for 33, 12.1%, 30 of 32 in the NHL. Like, think about that.
Is that good?
No, it sucks ass.
There is no, like, I don't want to hear that guy's name brought up in this conversation either, because they were just as bad last year. There is no good reason ever for that to be the case when you have these guys on this fucking power play. That is unacceptable. I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care if it was Mitch Marner or Mattias Maccelli who's gone and not on the thing, or who you've got lined up on that power play. Austin Matthews, William Nylander, John Tavares are 3 of the main pieces going out there. You got to find ways. And I think part of it, Nick, is the same situation and that we've seen in years past, where it's like, we got enough skill to do this. So previously, you watch the group and they go out there and they're like, we just have enough talent here, and then they score. Whereas when you break it down and you look at these guys now and the way teams play against them, especially in like the playoffs where everything tightens up, they just don't battle hard enough and like have enough jam in them to be able to make things happen. Like they just try to well, I don't even remember who it was. Was it Torts that said it when he's trying to skill it up or whatever? Like that's what they're trying to do.
Got new power play units for the ability time this season. OEL, Matthews, JT, Nylander, Nyes, PP1, Riley, Maccelli, Robertson, Domi, Watt, PP2, as you bring in today's guest from the Home by 3 podcast, former NHLer, doing his thing. He's in a feud in Utah. I don't know what's up next year for Jordan Schmaltz. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Fellas, how you doing? I was having some mic and audio issues, but do I sound okay? I've never used this platform, I don't think. We good?
I think you're good.
I think you're
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Default
What's going
to you,
on?
buddy.
Thanks for having me, fellas. I
solid.
appreciate it.
Hey, our pleasure. We're just talking about the Maple Leafs, dude. It's been such a roller coaster of a season. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You probably played a couple games with Craig Berube in St. Louis, or was around him at least. Do you remember a time where he lit up a room?
Yeah, I mean, I had Chief as a coach in the minors. My second year pro, Craig Berube, was our bench boss for the Chicago Wolves. So I had him a full season down there in the jungle. And then I had Chief in a role the following year when he got called up to be an associate head coach of the Blues, working under Mike Yeo. And then obviously Yossi got told to pack his shit, and Chief took over as a head coach. So I saw him in all different roles. I saw him in the minors. I saw him as an assistant coach. I saw him a little bit as a head coach before I was sent down. So yeah, I know the man very well. He's a good dude. I just think for him, he just shoots you so straight. Like I just remember, from me personally, like we never really saw eye to eye on how I should play. I think there was just a disconnect in terms of what he thought I should play like, and then the brand I wanted to bring, and we never really were able to get on common ground. But I respect the man so much. He's such a good dude off the ice, and it never really affected our relationship in terms of just being guys being dudes wanting the same goal for the team to win. So yeah, he's a great man.
So as Chief seems like a really intense guy when it's just what comes to practice, the videos that come out, you see him on the bench, his head in his hands like the game against Pittsburgh the other day. One of the things that we heard about a lot after the fact was how he had some words to say. It wasn't disclosed what it was, but there was some words between the second and third period before they came out. Just kind of want to know, as somebody who played at the highest level, do players stop responding when coaches have to do that too often, or if they have that level of intensity to them all the time? Because it seems like something that could just wear on guys, where all of a sudden at some point they're just like, all right, I've had enough of this.
Yeah, I think yes and no. I think Chief is so nails, and what I mean by that, he's such a tough customer as a player. So there's instant respect from guys, whether it's because you're a little scared of him and you don't want him just to catch a firm right from Chief. Not that he's going to hit his players like that necessarily, but he does have that presence. You know what I mean? It's like, holy fuck, this guy was an absolute nail gun. So there's instant respect in terms of that department. Now, when he comes in and snaps, I think where you start to lose the room at the highest level is when the guy presenting that, the coach, is a phony. Like the guy just can't really back it up. But with Chief, if he comes in there and he lays into you, it's for real, because he's a fairly mild-mannered guy until the smoke bubbles over the lid. It's just to get him to that point, it takes an effort, like you saw the other night when they're losing 3-0 after 2, and they come in and put up a 4-goal third period. So I think for the guys playing for Chief, I don't think it necessarily wears off, because he's, at the end of the day, like he's hard, he's firm, he's very direct, but he's also a player's coach, and he knows skill, and he understands what makes the big dogs click. And you always see him having conversations with Willie Nylander, and even in the media, he shares a little bit, just in terms of their relationship and how he's always learning from the top dogs like a William Nylander, and he's basically a student of the game still. So I think we're Chief, he kind of gives his players that leniency in the department of, okay, I can see your side, and I'll be willing to meet you on the other side of this if you give me what I need as well on my end. So I think he's a pretty fair guy, and I don't think, playing for him, it necessarily runs its course, because he does have a pretty good give and take, to be honest.
We were just talking about Mattias Maccelli. Zach's ready to give up on this guy after 12 games. I'm giving it a bit more running ground here. But what was your view of Maccelli coming in? Do you think there's a fit here in Toronto? We just talked about Chief and his system, the type of player he likes, and Maccelli's a bit of a different animal, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I saw Mattias Maccelli really up close and personal when he was playing at the iconic Mullet Arena here in Arizona. And I saw a player that has a ton of skill. I saw a player that was so good on his feet, cutbacks, really his ability to create the offensive zone using the high ice and get the cycle game going. In saying that, I think he needs to be a complementary piece on your team. Like, he's got to be a side piece. You know, in the NBA, they always need side pieces on the road. He's got to be a side piece. He can't be a guy counted on to be a top 6 player. I just don't think that's fair to his game, and I don't think it's fair to the team to count on him to have a 60, a 70-point season. I think I see him more as a 35 to 45-point guy, 15-odd goals and some assists, second power play. So I think there's still room for him to find a fit in the top 9. I just don't think it can be alongside Austin Matthews. And maybe he'll prove me wrong, but to this point, I just truly see him as like a really good third-line left winger that can play on a second power play and can really create and can surprise people. And if they get into the playoffs like they should, that's a guy that, you know, could really help them get over the hump. So I just don't see him in a top 6 role per se for a whole year. You know what I mean? If everyone's healthy.
What do you make of the Leafs start here so far this season? There's a lot of panic early on about the way they've looked, a little bit slower, maybe a little bit older behind the 8 ball here to get the season started. But when, as Nick and I just talked about, as you get through the first 13 games, last year 6-5-2, this year 7-5-1. What do you make of the construction of this team and just how they've played so far to start the season?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched a few games. I've watched probably 3 Leafs games. I watched the other night against Pittsburgh. Obviously, that was a great come from behind win. I don't know, fellas. I still think they need to get faster. I think they need something on that right side to play with Matthews. I mean, you lose Mitchie Gritty Marner, right? It's a big hole to fill. I mean, we can beat that one over with a dead horse, but it's like that. There's no secret. That guy, he's a 100-point player. So I think someone with the ability to pass, to play with speed through the neutral zone, to find 34, and ultimately be able to play on a level like a perennial all-star is someone they're missing over there on the right side. I'm not saying, you know, what Marner brought is exactly what they need. Yes, they would like to have it, but I just think someone that can play with top players, play on the right side, play with speed through the neutral zone, make those little 3 to 4 foot passes, find Matthews in the honey hole. I think they're missing something there. I think they got to go out to the market and get something if they want to be a true contender. Look, they've been banged up on their back end. Goaltending, they've relied heavily on Stolarz with Wall being out. They're going to be fine, but I do think that is one area that the Toronto Maple Leafs need to get better, is on that right side, someone that can play with Matthews. I don't think that's a secret, though.
Do you know anybody, maybe a sibling, a sister, maybe an aunt that could fill that void?
I might know a few guys, yeah. I mean, I don't want to get involved in a tampering issue here, fellas, but I think I might know a guy. If they're not going to pay him somewhere, I think there's a pretty good player out there. He's having a decent year, I think. He might have scored last night in Buffalo. I don't know. I could give him a buzz.
Man,
Hypothetically.
He is playing some awesome hockey right now, isn't he, in Utah? Like, man, he's feeling it.
I know. Yeah, he's playing unbelievable. Even the game I watched in Tampa Bay, I went there on Sunday. I went to the Soak City, Utah, and watched the matinee versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. And even though they weren't really connected that game, it just the things that I really stood out to me, competing off the puck. Obviously, he's got a really good stick. I would say Stevie Wonder-like. Like, his stick has always been so good on the defensive side. And then just the way he's skating, I think he's gotten a little bit stronger. I think he had a great offseason. And it's showing, fellas. I mean, he's got 9 tucks, scored last night in Buffalo on Chippewa Street. So it's things are good there, and I hope he can continue to keep it rolling. My folks will be in the building tonight at the Scotiabank, so I'm fired up to watch that one. Yeah. Yep.
What do people need to know about this Mammoth team? Obviously, you're at least a little bit around them, given somebody you might hypothetically know who could potentially be a fit here in Toronto. But I mean, they're off to a hot start this season, and I think a lot of people maybe in this market who don't watch enough or watch a lot just kind of still have that Arizona tag on them and for what they used to be. But what are the Mammoth all about? What should people expect tonight?
Yeah, I think they play a high-octane offensive game. I think the line of Hayton, Schmaltz, and Keller, they've played together for 5 years. And, you know, more or less 2 of those 3 players have been point-per-game players. And Hayton does a lot of the greasy, gritty work in terms of winning pucks, getting in on the forecheck. So that line, the way they use, you talk about Maccelli using the high ice. These guys, they get the carousel going in terms of the cycle, and they don't stop. It's just constant motion. It's a 5-man cycle. They're always up and around. the offensive blue line, and they're working the puck low to high. And then once something breaks down, that's when they look to go east to west with a seam play. So those guys, especially Keller and Schmaltz, the way that they can use each other, the way they make little plays, it's really fun to watch. And then you can't discount the second line if that's what you want to call them. You got Dylan Guenther, Logan Cooley, and JJ Pareka. And Cooley, I mean, this kid, he's unbelievable. I've watched him since, again, the time he came into the league. If you were to redraft that draft, most would say he's probably right now at least would be the guy you'd take first. So the way he can skate, the way he is, his center of gravity, that's the biggest thing I noticed when I watch him is he's very bull-legged, and he gets this center base, and he's just a strong kid for being 22 years old or whatever he is. So that line is fun to watch. Gunther's a pure sniper. I think for the first time since the Arizona Desert Dogs at Mullet transitioning into the Utah Hockey Club into the Mammoth, I think this is the first time they got a 4-line team. Every line has an identity, and their decor. Nate Schmidt was a great pickup. You have guys like Ian Cole back there. Even Marino, this kid, he's been healthy. Back injury last year. He's looked really good. His poise with the puck. He had a great assist last night in Buffalo where he kind of rushed the puck up the ice, then found Keller, and then Kells obviously found Nicky. But their decor looks good. Goaltending looks solid. They're good, man. They play a good game. They play north. They play with speed. They know where they're going to be. They're predictable. They're a team to be reckoned with. I mean, I picked them to make the playoffs this year. I hope they prove me right.
I like that. And you want to talk about nail guns. Bill Armstrong, who guested on this podcast way back when to talk about the Maccelli trade. He's an absolute nail gun, dresses well. And I think just getting back into the breakdown of this guy, could be your aunt's cousin, whoever he is in this league. This guy in Utah, obviously he's got a pretty good familiar relationship with the Nylander family, right?
He does, yeah. So the Nick's line back in the day, fellas, for the Chicago Mission, I want to say Pee Wee Major, Bantam Minor, and maybe Bantam Major. They played together for, I think, at least 2 years, if not 3. And it was Bill Nylander, Nicky Schmaltz, and Christian Dvorak on a line. And I remember watching these guys. They played, I forget the team it was. It was a team in Detroit. I don't want to say if it was Victory Honda or one of the kind of lower tiered teams. I think it was Victory Honda. And I was playing, it was in Naperville. We were playing at Seven Bridges, and I was playing on one of the rinks with the 93 team, and these guys are playing for the 96s. So our coach, Anders Sorensen, who was the coach of the Chicago Blackhawks last year and now the associate coach there, coached both these teams. He's actually the godfather of William Nylander. So we would always set up our games where we would kind of play back-to-back or one after the other. So it just so happened my game finishes on the one rink. I come over and watch these guys play, and I think Nick had 1 goal, 14 assists. Bill Nylander had like 2 goals, 15 assists, and Christian Dvorak had like 1-9 or 3-7, and they were chirping CD for only having like 10 points, and they beat this team like 15 or 16-1, and they had all the points. So that line was insane to watch. These guys, they've known each other for probably 20 odd years. I mean, we've done stints over there where you go over there in the summer. We train with the local team in Stockholm. It's called Garden, the pro team there. So we would stay with the Nylanders for a couple of weeks. We've done it probably twice back when I was playing pro still, and Nick and Will were as well. So yeah, we know that family well. Michael Nylander was actually my agent for a little bit over in Europe. I used to call him the super agent, jack of all trades, master of none, that guy. So yeah, we know the entire family. Alex Nylander's a great kid. Jackie Nylander is a great tennis player. So we know the whole family. I mean, we're connected. Like, our parents are friends. So we've known them a long time, and they're awesome people.
Let me ask.
Has Willie
jokes
always
aside,
been like this?
Yeah,
I was just
sure.
going to ask if Willie's always been like this. I mean, you watch him, the way he handles the market here in Toronto, see him in all the prime docs, the gear this guy's wearing all the time. Has he always been this kind of guy off the ice?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've told the story before, and I forget what local Toronto radio was. Maybe it was the NHL radio, Sirius, with Gord Selleck and those fellas. But the last time I went over there, we were skating with that Garden team, right? So we were kind of buzzing all over the place. We go skate, we work out, we play golf. Like, our days were filled probably 7 to 7. Like, we were golfing until almost midnight over there as well because, it's light out in Sweden the entire summer. So we go over there, and it was a day after a skate. We were skating with Garden, the pro team. We had just worked out. We had skated. We're going to go get something to lunch downtown Stockholm. So we're going for lunch. We go to this kind of like this food court place in downtown Stockholm. It's kind of like underneath, some of the buildings there. So we roll over, we park the car, and we go in. We go eat. We come back. The car's not there. We're like, okay, that's weird. Like, I thought we parked the car right here. It was like in a hazard zone. It was, you know what I mean? It was just like right on the side of the street. Definitely somewhere you shouldn't park. But we just parked there. And there's like, the small streets in Europe. We basically double parked everyone. So they kind of had to go around us. Like, the car's not here. Like, okay. Well, check the other side of the building. It's not there either. We're like, okay, what's going on? Well, the car gets stolen. And the car gets stolen. So we report it. Now, inside that car was my passport, and I just remembered it. I'm like, oh my God, my passport was in the car that Willie had. And I'm like, Will, like, my passport, dude, it was in that car. Like, I'm leaving in like 2 days. We got to find where this car is or what's going on. He's like, okay, well, me and Nick are still going to go golfing, but yeah, let me know if you figure that out. I'm like, dude, like, my passport's in there. Like, you can't just like bail on me. I don't know how to speak Swedish. I don't know how to talk to the cops. What do you mean, dude? So those guys end up going golfing. I call Michael Nylander, the dad, right? You think he'd be a little bit more responsible, maybe, just a little bit more worried about Jay Swish getting back to his home country. I call Mike. I'm like, Mike, hey, the car is stolen. We left the keys in it and someone took off on it, but my backpack happened to be there. And in my backpack was my passport. And Mike, same thing. He's like, well, the boys are going golfing and I think I'm going too. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm just here to fuck off. So I'm like, Mike, you can go golf, but I need you tomorrow to try to help me out with this passport. So the following day, you got to go around to like the U.S. consulate, the Swedish embassy. Like, it's a big deal because this car, like, we hadn't heard, it was just got stolen. Like, it was a dealership car with no plates on it. So I'm pretty sure it's still gone. So we go to the U.S. consulate, the embassy. I end up doing that all on my own, but I'm like, Mike, you got to take me to somewhere to get a picture. Like, they need like these pictures for my, my passport picture, and they can't take them here. So we have to go get them. You have to take me somewhere. He's like, okay, I got a spot. So we go to the train station and we go in one of those little photo booths. You know what I mean? Where like you go in the photo booth and you pay, and then like a slip of the pictures come out. So I needed a white shirt and I had to have nothing around my face. So the first 2 times, as the flash is going off, Mike jumps in the photo booth and gets his face on the picture. I'm like, dude, like, what are we doing here? So he ends up like fucking up the first 2 attempts. I'm like, Mike, dude, can you just please just let me do this? So that's the Nylanders in a nutshell, man. They're not worried about, they live not even a mile at a time. I'd say they live 15 feet at a time. They're some of the best people. But yeah, that was the passport story where the car got stolen with Will, and they just ended up just leaving me and going to play golf, and I had to figure out all that just on my own. I had my mom actually helping me out stateside with everything. So shout out to Lisa. Yeah, that's I'm sorry that's long-winded, fellas, but I feel like I got to tell that.
Hey, no, that's good. The first time somebody's called out their mom on this show, so we appreciate
100%.
that, man. It's been a whirlwind like last week for you, man. I've been monitoring things. Even earlier this year, you guys had the stream on the channel where I watched you and Gucci take shootout attempts for 3 hours at Mullet Arena. A lot of fun. But now there's this whole SAE gate where you were supposed to go on a date with, like, I responded to your tweet the other day. It sounds like you have a wife and a girlfriend now.
Yeah, I might, man. I think that was taken in literal context because that group of people, which I now have bridged the gap between the pronoun community and the moderate right, which has never been done before. So I think I should run for president probably because I am that big of a man of the people. So I got that going for me, which is just, I'm just a melting pot, fellas. What can I say? So Acai Gate, yeah, man. Like, these people were telling me to stay out of Utah. I'm like, what did I do to you? And they're like, well, I'm scared of you. I'm like, well, there's nothing to be scared of. If you're at the game on Sunday, I'll buy you an acai bowl, because they recommended going to meet for a coffee or a drink. I'm like, look, let's keep this neutral site. I mean, as a good pro, you know that you don't go into someone else's kitchen because who knows what's going to happen. So I'm like, yeah, if you're at the game, I'll buy you an acai bowl, because this place at the Delta Center in Utah in Salt Lake has unbelievable acai bowls. I always get one when I'm at the game. So I kind of get tied up doing different things, running around, a couple radio hits, some podcast stuff, and then the second intermission between the second and third rolls around, and that's the only real free time I had. And I honestly forgot about it. But the person didn't tweet at me saying they were at the game. So it was kind of a miscommunication. That ended up blowing up because she said I stood her up, and then you should have seen the left lane of Twitter just come over the top of me. I saw. Boys, I can take a lot, but I've never heard of a death threat over an acai bowl. I think that's where I have to draw the line.
I think that's fair,
dude. I was,
I think that's fair. No, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I watched some of your shit, and I just laugh, man, over the troll jobs, and just like, I watched that whole gate unfold before my eyes, and like the whole community was rattled that you didn't show up. But it was a miscommunication. Like, credit to you, you put out a 17-minute video explexplaining what happened, right?
Yeah, I think it was 7 minutes, 42 seconds all in, and it was an official press release. And I just had to, I had to come clean, because if you're getting death threats over acai bowls, I mean, look, it seems like a legitimate reason to kill somebody. I think it's fair. Like, acai bowls are pretty good, especially when you put the coconut flakes on them. But
I agree.
I just had to set everyone straight and just say, let's just all calm down. And then, like I said, I think I'm probably going to run for president, and I'll probably win. So that's
I think so. And I think the only remedy to this, when your brother signs that big fat ticket wherever it is, I mean, you can just open up an SAE stand in Utah at the Delta Center if you want. You can buy a chain if you want.
Yeah. Swish's acai bowls, come from the acai, stay for the date.
Very well put. Just to wrap, Awake Souls, you guys are on YouTube too. Like, this guy's calling us clowns because he's like, this clown just mocks Nylander and you just laugh. Call this clown out. He's buddies with Nylander. Why would I call out Swish? He didn't say anything harmful about Willie Nylander, but the chat, this guy specifically called us cucks, then deleted it and then changed what he put. So one of those.
Yeah, one of those guys, dude. Yeah, I mean, we like Will Nylander over here. I don't know. He must be still drunk. That guy must be still drunk. He's not seeing the ball.
No, definitely trouble with the curve for sure. Anyways, dude, Pump the podcast. You guys are killing it. You put out great content.
Yeah, it's home by 3. It's on YouTube. Obviously, we do podcasts, live streams, live shows. We're actually coming to Toronto January 22nd. The show is sold out, folks, but if you want to come on, hang out wherever we'll be afterwards. It's a Thursday night. It's ladies' night. So it's home by 3 official. Go check it out on YouTube. We got some different things. I think we might call the Utah Mammoth game here tonight with the Toronto Maple Leafs, if we can get around Gary Bettman's blackouts. I can't watch any of the games here, fellas. It's crazy.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's a story for another day, man. Again, continue hard work, man. Dude, see you soon. Thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate this.
Yep, fellas, thanks for having me. Stay clean, stay sexy out there.
Take care. There's Jordan Schmaltz. Dude, that guy kills me. He's hilarious, man. I could just put my mic down and let him talk for like 2 hours. He just kills me.
At the end, I just spent most of it laughing. Yeah, what are you saying? Talking about the Nylander story. Also, like, sorry, dude, I gotta go. I'm going golfing, and then calling Michael Nylander, and he's like, I think I'm going too. Like, buddy, figure out the password. You got it on your own. I'm going golfing. I got a tea time. Fuck off. Leave me alone.
I didn't want to blow his story up, but he told it last time he was on this show with me and Rosie. Okay. But I was like, let this guy tell it again. He's got one clear-cut Nylander story, and it hits. So do it. That was the play. But thank you to Jordan Schmaltz. Of course, we're having a little fun. Nick Schmaltz is a pending UFA. The Nylanders, the Schmaltzes are pretty close. I mean, the Leafs have a need for a right-handed shooting right winger in the top 6. Anything's possible. He's going to get paid. He's having an unbelievable start, 13 games. 8 goals, 10 assists, 18 points. So the Mammoth in town tonight at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Bottom line, dude, I don't care about the opponent. I think Vitek Vanacek is starting this game. If you were to make a list of the top 64 goalies in the NHL, this guy is somewhere from 60 to 64. Translation, they better fucking win, okay?
No. Translation, tomorrow morning, headline, no name goalie from Utah blanks Maple Leafs. What was that
He's
article?
A cup winner.
You know what I'm talking about.
Put some respect on Vanacek's name. He's a cup winner. Didn't play a single second
I'm not
last year,
the one disrespecting him. I'm referring to something else, Nikolai. Remember the Anaheim game that they played where the
was it Dostal?
Yes. And then there was an article the next day calling him like a no-name goalie or whatever. It's a play on that. Didn't land. Sorry, we move on. But yes, I was referring to that. Yeah, no. This screams to me Leafs get 45 shots on goal and they lose 3-2, given the history. But I'm hoping that changes. It's time for this team to turn the page. It's time for different things to happen here. Start on time, Nick. That's the main point for tonight.
You're very zen today. I like that. So we're anticipating Maccelli coming back in, the revenge look here against the Mammoth. Scotty Laughton could make his season debut, and Steven Lorentz potentially back in. So we'll see what happens tonight. But again, the Mammoth on the back end of the back-to-back, they won via OT last night in Buffalo. You got to go watch that Keller goal to win it. I couldn't believe my eyes, man. Like, they just gave him a full path to the net, and then he's put one by Alex Lyon. It's like Buffalo sucks again. It's like 15 years straight of that bullshit. But I agree with Schmaltz. I think Utah has taken that next step. I think they're going to make the playoffs. They still have wonders about their crease. I think you can have them defensively a bit, and that's what I expect getting into the last call, brought to you by Bet365, whatever your bet is. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in the game. Use code NATION. That's NATION, NATION. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit ConnexOntario.ca. I got to play the over again. 11 to 13 Leafs games have hit the over this season. I'm playing the over. That's it. That's all.
I just went back and forth in my head of what I was going to do. I'm just going to be a true pro here on this one. Watch this, Nick. If you want to know what my best bet is, you tune in a few hours when the game preview comes out here on this channel, and I give out my best bet. On any other given day, I would give it to you, but I have obligations later in the day, and it would absolutely cuck myself if I gave you the answers right now. So tune in later. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything.
I like that. I like that. Translation, I took the time to make a video, so make sure you watch it. Please do so.
Yeah,
directly
exactly.
A couple minutes, couple hours from this show. Check that out. I'm going to play Maccelli, too. I like revenge. I was going to add in the Schmaltz interview, man. Like, I had, I think, 7 different bets scattered across that Buffalo-Utah game. Shot props, Kesselring goal, Peterka point, Doan point. Like, that was revenge night in Buffalo, and fuck, it was a 2-1 game and nothing happened. So really disappointed. I'm anticipating a high scoring affair in this game, but I've been proven wrong before. You just got to play the numbers. 11 of 13 have hit the over. I'll probably play the Maccelli point prop. I know he's not playing too well right now, but I think maybe he gets reinvigorated by the chance to play his former team who dealt him, who it sounds like he wanted out from anyways. But Zach, great job today. Any update on what's happening tomorrow? I know we were hinting at it behind the scenes that Jay Rosehill might do the show from your condo tomorrow, right?
Yeah, no update. We'll find out from him probably within. I mean, ideally for like my sake, so that I can figure out my morning tomorrow, we find out today. But
no, it doesn't work that way with Jay Rosehill. Okay, fly by the seat of your pants. You're gonna find out probably tonight at 11 o'clock or tomorrow when he finds out what time he can check out from his Airbnb. So
yeah, but no, we don't have an update on that. I just know he's coming to town. Try to see if we can get over there maybe and see him pregame. Yeah. Maybe we do like a little Leafs Nation dinner or meetup or something. And
possible.
We'll figure it out. But I don't know. He's got the pregame stuff with the Leafs guys, right? So he's got to be there early. Yeah. He's a big
his
shot
booking
now.
agent
He's
now.
got an alumni.
I'm booking this guy in Chiclets. I'm booking him everywhere. I'm pretty much an agent at this point for Jay Rosehill. So
are you gonna start? Can you start booking for me? Like what?
I should.
You got that?
I can get you
why
on
not?
that show. Yeah, no,
yeah, I don't know about
great.
that, any of those, but sure, yeah, whatever you can swing, start swinging it. I'll hire you. I don't really have much to send your way. I can give you best bets. I can get you access to the same bars that you have access to. So I don't really have much to give you, but I'll buy you beer, I guess.
Hey. I'll take that. That's great currency in my world. So great job today. And well, we look forward to After Dark. Hopefully you're in positive spirits tonight, bud.
I hope so for my own sake. Look, it's a long season. It's dark at 5 o'clock. We don't need to be yelling. I can't golf anymore. We don't need to be yelling and screaming about this team. Let's just win this game tonight, continue the winning streak, and be a positive mood. You know, I look at the standings here, Nick. They're in the first wild card spot. They're 1 point behind the Bruins right now. They're 1 point behind the Carolina Hurricanes if you break down the entire Eastern Conference. And you know who's in last place in the Eastern Conference right now? The Florida Panthers and the Washington Capitals.
Yeah.
Like, it's all good. Let's breathe.
Yeah.
Let's get through this. Let's figure out where we are.
Zach says this,
5 to
but
10
9
games.
hours from now, he's going to be blowing his ass
Yeah, I'm going
out.
to text you and tell you
Yeah.
Well, pause on that. I don't know about that.
And now he's getting
but-
superstitious all of a sudden. What if I say this? It's going to happen. Manifest it. Okay, Zach. All right. Well, we'll see what happens tonight.
Let's
All right,
let's get
that's it
through
for
it.
us.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it
Yes,
out.
exactly. Very well put. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the way out. Leafs Morning Take wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Thank you to Jordan Schmaltz for dropping by. Jay Rosehill back in the mix tomorrow, we think. For producer Vic and Zack Phillips, I'm Nick Alberga. Talk tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.